It's been a full week of content here on the channel. I hope you've enjoyed all the extra content, and I can assure you there will be plenty more to come. Thank you so much to the over 40,000 subscribers that have joined us over the past month. On today's Entitled Parents, a family tries to take advantage of a kids eat free offer at a pizza place, but the waiter is much smarter than they are. A young woman has a small job face painting in a museum. When she paints a pink Patrick Star from SpongeBob SquarePants, the mother has an unexpected reaction. And our fan submitted story. A father tries to sneak his small child onto a water park ride. You won't believe how stupid his plan is to get her in. This story was called I Might Have Been a Bit Extra. So I worked in a local pizza restaurant through high school and college. My cousin was the owner and had given me the job. I worked nearly every position there through the years until I settled at being a part-time manager. As many places do, we had different deals on different days of the week, and Tuesdays happened to be Kids Eat Free night. It is important to note that you got 2 free kids meals off the kids menu with the purchase of a medium or large pizza. This was written almost verbatim on the menu. It just so happened one Tuesday evening I was managing, and one of my servers called in. With the rest of my serving staff being less experienced than her, I decided I should take a small section to help them out. At what was probably the busiest point of the night, in rolled the entitled parents and their children, who could have been raised by Satan himself. They were seated in my section, so I went over and helped them. From the get-go, the parents were just allowing the children to run wild. They made a mess before drinks even got brought out, but the parents paid zero attention to them. I finally came to take their order. The mother ordered for all of them. She ordered a large pizza for her and her husband to share, as well as a medium pizza, 12 inches in diameter, for each of her 2 children. I thought maybe they would take leftovers for lunch, but in all reality was not even close to the craziest things I've seen there. I rang the order in and took it out, and all was well. Then I brought the boxes for the leftovers. Each child ate 1 slice of pizza out of 8 on each, and I brought them the check. Before I even walked away, this interaction happened. AM is the angry mum, AD the angry dad, and I'm me. Excuse me, but you forgot to take off the kids' pizzas. Kid-sized pizzas were 5.5 inches in diameter, not 12. Oh, sorry ma'am, but for the deal it needs to be the pizzas ordered off the kids' menu. I know it's supposed to be, but we do this all the time. Sorry ma'am, but I still can't allow you to have 2 medium pizzas for free. Have you done this here before? The dad speaks up and I didn't even realize this guy could talk. You should just give them to us for free. We know the owner. This is a classic line. Which owner do you know? It doesn't matter which one I know. Just take the pizzas off the check. Please go get a manager. We would like to clear this up with someone who has some authority. Keep in mind, I am wearing my name tag that says manager this whole time. So I turned as if to walk away, but instead of moving forward, I spun around and did a full 360 degrees in what was likely a slow motion, but beautifully executed pirouette, pointing at my name tag. I am the manager. Now pay your bill, please. The angry mum looks like she could literally explode, throws her credit card at me and yells loud enough for the entire restaurant to hear, "You think people would give a break to a family that is down on their luck?" I respond very sweetly, but most definitely smug. You would think a family down on their luck would actually take advantage of the deal that is going on, rather than risk paying more than you should. At that, I walked away, swiped the card, brought back the check to the table with a flourish, and told them to have a fantastic night. As expected, I did not receive a tip, but even better than a tip, I never saw them again. Sometimes a business will have a deal where you don't really see the fine print, and then when you go up for the deal, it's like, oh, I thought it was this. And I think for most people, they're too awkward because it's like, well, that was on me for not checking first. In this situation, why would you think that a child would get a free medium-sized pizza when there was clearly a kids menu for kids eating free? Don't push your luck, lady. Just, you got caught, pay the bill. This story was called Entitled Parent is Insulted Because Patrick is Pink. When I was in college, I worked as a face painter for a local children's museum. This children's museum was famous for its themed days. We had Scooby-Doo Day, Puppy and Kitty Day, Space Day, you get the idea. As one of the face painters, I was expected to come to work with a printout of things I could paint on a child's face. On the day of this story, it was SpongeBob Day. I had most of the main characters as well as the Bikini Bottom flowers on a sheet of paper to use as a reference. All was well, and the kids were loving their face paintings. The lines were fairly short, and then comes up a little boy. His mum quickly follows behind him, and she's on her phone, barely paying attention to me or her child.
Could I get Patrick?
Sure, I love starfishes, don't you? The mum pays absolutely no attention through this whole exchange, wanders off presumably to find her other kid. I proceed to paint Patrick on the boy's cheek. I show him with a mirror what I painted. He's elated and runs off to show his mum. About 10 minutes later, here comes the mum again. She's dragging her son by the arm.
What do you think you're doing over here?
Face painting?
Don't be smart with me. Why did you paint a pink star on my son's cheek? Are you trying to turn him gay?
I was so confused for a moment. Ma'am, that's Patrick from SpongeBob. Your son asked for Patrick. He's a boy starfish. Here's my reference.
No, he is not a boy. That's a pink starfish. It's a girl starfish.
I am sorry you're upset, ma'am. I just painted him the way he is from the show.
I cannot believe this museum would so blatantly hire someone to make our sons effeminate. I'm going to find your manager.
She storms off to find the manager. I'm completely flabbergasted at the stupidity of this woman. At this point, the other face painters show up and are assigned different places to paint. One of my good friends is also a face painter, and she's assigned the opposite side of the museum. 15 minutes later, who shows up but the entitled parent again?
Fix my son's face. Don't you see what's wrong?
At this point, I look at the kid's face and see that first of all, he's very upset after being dragged around by his very angry mother. There's some dried tears on his face and his eyes are red. Also, Patrick is now very smeared purple. Your son looks upset.
Of course he's upset. He has a purple star on his face. Make it blue. He's a boy.
Then I suddenly understand what happened. She went over to another face painter's booth and demanded a blue star, and the artist decided to paint with blue paint directly over my pink paint. Red plus blue makes purple, kids. I explained to the mum that I can't fix this without completely wiping off his face and starting over. She angrily agrees and storms off, leaving me alone with the kid again. The little boy is crying, and I try to make him feel better by telling some jokes. He starts asking me if Patrick is gay, and tells me that pink is his favorite color, but his mum gets mad when he has anything pink. He's so upset I'm painting Patrick blue on his face. So I make an executive decision and I paint a little bikini bottom flower on his hand, pink on the inside, blue on the outside. I tell him that I'm sorry his mum is mad and that pink is a pretty color and it's my favorite too. Later on, I got a write-up for painting Patrick pink, when his color is literally pink in the first place, and then apparently sassing the mum about it. I wasn't the only one who got written up though. The painter who made Patrick purple? My good friend. She had made him purple specifically to tick off the mum. I saw the boy leaving the museum later, flower on his hand, fully intact. Worth it. I've actually volunteered to face paint before, and it's actually harder than you think, and it's probably just because I'm not a very artistic person. I never had an experience like that, but there's definitely particular special requests that both parents and kids have. It's ridiculous when somebody attaches their identity to something so simple like a color. If you're worried that your child is going to become effeminate because of a color, you're placing the energy of your parenting into the wrong place. This fan-submitted story was called Let My Daughter on This Ride or Else. I'm a 20-year-old male college student, and I used to work as a lifeguard at a water park hotel called Great Wolf Lodge, Garni. Before we start the story, however, I'd like to give some sense of the rules so that you have a better understanding of the story. Our water park has a gatekeeping system where 1 or 2 people stand at the front of the water park to measure children's heights and give them bracelets for their appropriate height. We do this for obvious safety reasons. 48 inches or above, kids get green bracelets, which indicates they are permitted to every ride. 42 to 47 inches, kids get yellow bracelets, which indicates they are only permitted to some rides, and must be accompanied by an adult or a green bracelet. And finally, any kid under 42 inches gets a red bracelet, which means they are not allowed on the big kids rides at all and must stick to the little kiddies areas. Alright, now this is where the fun begins. One morning shift, I was assigned to be a dispatcher at Family Raft Slide, rafts that allow 2 to 5 people total. The ride requires for everyone to be a yellow bracelet or higher, and that the party does not exceed 800 pounds. Things were going fine, until 2 parents came in with their daughter, who was obviously less than 42 inches. The little girl was not wearing a height bracelet. Sometimes parents sneak past the height measuring people and play it like they didn't know that that was a thing. And dispatchers have height bracelets just in case there was a child without one. It is my job to enforce rules, so I have to ask them if I can measure the height of their daughter. This could end in 2 ways. The parents understand the situation and follow the rules, or they make a big fuss about it by being passive-aggressive, making a scene, etc. So I took a deep breath and hoped for the best, but prepared myself for the worst. ED is the entitled dad. "Excuse me, sir, do you mind if I measure your daughter?" "Why, she's fine. She's more than tall enough to ride here." I start to get a little frustrated, but remained calm. "I understand, sir, however, it is to double check for the safety of your child." "Fine, do it quick." We walk over to the measuring meter stick, where I ask the little girl if she could stand against the wall on her back and face straight. At first I thought her measurement was fine, until I saw her tiptoeing. "Sweetie, could you please lay your feet flat on the ground?" The entitled dad starts to get mad. "No, don't listen to him, you're fine, honey." "I'm sorry, sir, but your daughter doesn't seem to be tall enough for this ride." "What do you mean? She's a good girl. Nothing will happen. They let us on yesterday." Now, I knew that was a lie because I was stationed up here yesterday and I never saw them up here the day before. Plus, my co-workers and I enforce rules pretty well, but I had to play it like I believed him. "I'm sorry for the inconvenience, sir, but I cannot let her on this ride. It's against the water park's safety protocol." "You can shove your safety protocol up your butt. My daughter is going on this ride, or else." He was getting closer to me now. At this point, everyone is just staring and I was in complete shock, but most importantly, I was furious. I've had my fair share of crazy customers, especially when I worked in retail, but nothing like this. I looked over to the mum, kind of expecting her to stop him, but she looked really embarrassed and decided to stay quiet. I was absolutely fuming, but again, kept my cool. I stood my ground and said in a stern voice, "Sir, don't do anything stupid." "Get your manager up here, I want to talk to him myself." I took a deep sigh and got my walkie-talkie to call over my manager while I could hear the entitled dad talking crap about me in the background. I told them to get security guards up here. Not gonna lie, at this point I was kind of hoping he would get physical so that I could have an excuse to beat him up. Yes, I was that mad. My manager, along with 2 security guards, came up. They asked me what happened, and I explained the situation to them, including the part where he threatened me. I don't remember the whole conversation my manager was saying to the entitled dad, but I know he told him that if he didn't leave right now, he was going to be escorted by the security guards. Of course, him and his family were escorted out, and the entitled dad decided to shoot one more dirty look at me, where I shot him an angry look back. And that was the last I heard about them. This kind of stuff happens at water parks a lot more often than people think. Parents get mad that their child is too short for a ride and start taking it out on you. I felt bad for the mum and the daughter because they didn't deserve to get their vacation ruined by their terrible father. But sometimes there will always be terrible people in the world. Not long after that, I quit and found a better job. Didn't look back. If you'd like your story to be narrated by me, don't forget to visit the subreddit r/VoiceyHere, link below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you'd like to see more. Alright, I'll see you in the next one.